Hi guys, from my lockdown location, making sure I'm on a desert island, so I'm social distancing, keeping away from absolutely everybody. Hope you guys are in a similar sort of place that's looking as beautiful as this. I'm obviously not really here, but through magic and technology, I can be anywhere, so I can be here, or even back at school. But for today, I think the best place will be is this desert island. Because if you've been reading the text, if you've been doing the work, you'll know that it is set on the magical island. First thing I'm going to do is just read through a little extract, read along with me, the words will be on the screen for you, and then there's going to be an activity for you to do. Your task this week will be to do a descriptive writing, so we're going to look at everything you need for your descriptive writing.
A violent storm was raging over the island. Palm trees bent and swayed like dancers in the howling gale that tore off their branches and sent them tumbling through the air. On a beach not far from the mouth of this cave stood Prospero, the wizard, his white hair and beard streaming out in the wind, his black robes flapping around him. As he raised his left hand, thunder rumbled. He lifted the staff in his right hand, and forked lightning crackled, flickering like snakes' tongues across the inky clouds. Out to sea, a ship with broken masts and tattered sails willowed helplessly as the storm drove it towards a jagged coral reef. A lovely young woman in a white gown hurried out of the cave and ran towards Prospero, her dark hair whipping about her face. She caught the wizard by the sleeve and called out, "Father!" Prospero seemed not to hear her. His eyes burned silver with magic, and they stayed firmly fixed on the ship. "Father!" shouted the young woman. "What are you doing? Everyone aboard that ship will be killed." Above the sound of the wind came a groaning crash of timber striking rock. A huge wave roared up like a startled horse and thundered down on the ship, making it vanish from sight. Prospero lowered his hands. The wind dropped to a gentle breeze. The boiling clouds faded into a blue sky and the sun glinted on a calm sea. "No one has been harmed, Miranda," said Prospero. "Everything is as I planned. For your sake, I have used my magic to help right a great wrong done long ago." "What wrong, Father?" Miranda asked with a puzzled frown. "Enough," said Prospero. He moved his left hand in front of Miranda's face, and she fell into an enchanted sleep where she stood. Prospero took 2 paces towards the sea, looking out at the place where the ship had sunk. "Soon, my brother," he whispered. A sound made him turn his head in time to see a strange creature creeping up behind Miranda. It was shaped like a man, but its skin was covered with glistening green scales, and its eyes were as yellow as a lizard's. "Caliban!" Prospero said sternly. "You brought no wood or water to the cave this morning. Must I send the spirits to torment you again?" Caliban scowled. "I was not born to be your servant," he answered defiantly. "My mother, the great witch Psychocrax, promised me that I would rule this island, and so I would have if you had not come here and stolen her books of magic and freed her slave spirits to help you drive her away." "Silence," said Prospero, and he snapped his fingers. Needles of fire seemed to lance through Caliban, forcing him to his knees. "Mercy, master, mercy," he cried, bowing his head. The pain left him, and he had his face so that Prospero could not see his cunning smile. "Why are you so cruel?" he whimpered. "You were kind to me once." "And you repaid my kindness by trying to kidnap my daughter," snapped Prospero. "Get to work, you treacherous wretch." Caliban stood and shambled off. "I will be revenged one day," he muttered to himself. "I will be king of this island, and I will take Miranda as my queen." When Caliban was safely out of sight, Prospero lifted the staff. "Ariel," he called softly, "appear to me now, sweet spirit." There was a faint sound of music, lights sparkled in the air. winking like sunshine on bursting bubbles. In the midst of the lights fluttered a young boy with golden skin and white wings on his heels. He smiled at Prospero and darted playfully around his head. Prospero laughed. "Faithful Ariel," he said. "Are the sailors scattered over the island as I commanded?" "They are, good master," said Ariel, his voice like the gentle humming of a harp. "And where is Ferdinand, the King of Naples' son?" Prospero demanded. "Close by," said Ariel. "He mourns his father, believing him to be drowned."
So you're going to use nouns in your work. So nouns are things, people, or places. So if you're washed up on that beach, you will be able to see lots of things that you can describe. To describe them, you're going to use adjectives. So adjectives are words that will describe what it is you can see. And then you can use verbs. So verbs will describe actions. So if you're seeing sea creatures like crabs, or maybe birds in the sky, or the trees, they may be moving somehow, maybe performing an action, so they will be verbs. If you want to then describe those verbs, how those verbs are happening, slowly, cautiously, calmly, then you can use adverbs. Okay? So I would expect you to be using those, and your challenge will be to use similes. So if you're comparing as or like. This is the image you will be describing. Now, as we've done before, the easiest way to describe this picture is to cut it up. So if you chop it up like I've done into 9 sections, so you've got each section, you can then describe each square as you go. What I want you to do is create a mind map. First thing I want you to do on the outside of the mind map is just write the nouns that you can see on that beach. Sand, sea, trees. And then from each of those nouns, what words can you use to describe those nouns? And then from there, if they're moving, what verbs and adverbs can you use to describe? So a little bit like the one I've done on the screen here, if you can use that as your model to create your own mind map. Once you've done your mind map, I want you to write some sentences that show me or tell me exactly what it is that Ferdinand is seeing on that beach. Use this image for your inspiration. Okay, I'd expect about a paragraph, 2 paragraphs if you can. Think about how you're starting your sentence types. Think about the setting, how you would describe everything that you can do, everything you can see. So think about what you can see, what you can hear, what you can touch, maybe what you can smell. Once you've done that, email it to me. I will mark it and produce some feedback for you. Okay, good luck with it, guys. Really try your hardest, and I look forward to seeing your work from you. So we read the text earlier on. Use that text to help you come up with some descriptive language. Look at what the writer uses to describe and use some of those ideas in your work. Look at how they've used adjectives to describe the nouns, how they've used verbs to bring the actions to the scene. Think about what language that writer is using. Make sure you include all of that in your writing. And remember also, use the sounds. What sounds did you hear from a beach? Go online, go on YouTube, have a look at the different sounds you might hear on a desert island. Have a look back to when I was first introducing you, when I was on the island, there were some sounds in the background that you will be able to hear. Use those in your description as well. So remember, it's not just what you can see, but what you can hear, what you can taste, what you can touch, and what you can smell. Get as much detail in there as possible.